Previously on Follow the Leader. Today we're playing Wander Home by Possum Creek Games. For those of you who are new to this game, here are the basics. Inside this book that you hold in your hands is the start of a new journey. Together, we'll set forth into a world of grassy fields, mossy shrines, herds of bumblebees, rabbits in sundresses, geckos with suspenders, starry night skies, and the most beautiful sunsets you can imagine. Where will we go? What will we see? We'll have to find out together.
My character's name is Sunny Rose, she, her pronouns. I'm playing the Firelight. It is easy to get lost in the darkness and the deep. The firefly at your side will always guide the way. You are alive, your care is forward-thinking, mutual, and shining bright. And I am a capybara.
So I'll be playing Parker Young. Uses he, they pronouns. His playbook is The Fool. Life is an adventure, and there's never shame in learning new things. You are alive. Your care is silly, naive, and more profound than most expect. Parker is an African fat-tailed gecko.
I have made Tuesday, twos for short way. I have they, he pronouns. For Tuesday, I've chosen the poet. So, for the poet, the song of the world is a poem that can be captured by ink and paper, if only you could find the right words. You are alive. Your care is eloquent, observant, and occasionally overwrought. The animal I've based them off of is a whippoorwill.
And I am playing the shepherd. Herds of chubby bumblebees can be found across the heath, and tending to these flocks is simple, honest work. You are alive. Your care is measureless, watchful, and gentle. I am playing Theo Delaney, who uses they, them pronouns, who in this life is a blue merle border collie. Those typical splotches that you've come to associate with them in various other lives are very much present here.
We now return to your game, already in progress.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
So it's just diving in.
Yeah. Do we want to start on the approach, or have we been here for a couple of days already?
I think the approach should be interesting because we have a not insignificant amount of beings to watch after that are not ourselves. The bumbles, the firefly. Figuring out places for them to sit and rest while we attend to business in the tavern for however long we're here. Sounds like something that could be done. How do the rest of y'all feel?
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah.
Okay, then how about this? So, the Warren at the Willow, it's a little bit out of the way, but at the same time, we're passing right through, or right by, sort of a connecting road towards it. It'll be longer to get to where we ultimately want to head, but Twos would have insisted on dropping in just to speak with their old pen pal, and also to give everyone just a sight of something that they would have called essential to see. Important, definitely something worth spending a few days by, and also if you buy a few drinks there, I'm sure that, it'll be good fortune for the rest of us, and good business for the person we're visiting. I think with that, it's not necessarily a path less traveled, but somewhere that is a little more... There's a bit more underbrush on the sides, There's this and that has to be trimmed. Those that go this way are generally not the folks that are taking care of the road, although those do pass the road so often. I think with the herd that Theo's keeping especially, I mean, how large is that herd actually? Outside of the 5 bumbles.
Yeah, they're just the ones I can pick out the easiest. We definitely had some babies over the summer or in the spring. So there's definitely more to the herd than there used to be. Maybe like 20.
Okay.
Of varying ages.
Yeah, I think that tracks. I think with that then, it's a volume that this road probably hasn't seen in a while. And there are raised bits and furrows in the road from wheels every so often, but not so much the trampling that a herd of 20 bumbles would necessarily bring.
Well, they can fly a little bit too.
That's true.
But yeah, no, I love that visual. Shout out to anyone that's lived anywhere near like people who are rearing livestock, because if you've gotten stuck behind a fucking flock of sheep, they are just going to take their own time moving, and you will wait.
You're going to be there for a while.
Yeah. I feel like the herd is probably at the back of the group then. Theo at the very back, riding on Buster.
Nice.
Just to make sure none of the herd like lag behind. Maybe if you like the idea, Sunny's at the front, both as like because of being the moth light, but also like she's the best at setting a pace for everyone, so nobody struggles to keep up.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense.
Sounds good.
Just remember that she's a I just remember that she's a capybara. I just smiled real big.
Very good. Are we all taking this on foot, by the way?
What's up?
Yeah, no, are we on foot? Do any of us have, like... I can picture a gecko on a bicycle, and it is very good. Doesn't have to be, I'm just saying. It's a good visual. But, like, somebody might have, like, a riding beetle. If they want. But, or we can be... I'm happy to be on foot. Whatever people want.
I'm so in love with that bicycle. I'm sorry. Especially on like an unreliable road. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and I'm imagining it being like one of those Victorian bicycles with like the oversized front wheel. So,
oh my god,
like,
a full-on penny-farthing?
Just completely ill-suited to what we're doing.
God.
But just imagining this gecko on this bicycle with a flamboyant hat and lots of beads and a cloak that has hitherto been too warm for the season. Although, like, with the road being rutted the way that it is, maybe they're just walking the bike along beside us.
It cannot be a penny-farthing then. A penny-farthing is so big, Orc. Like, a good Victorian bicycle is great, but a penny-farthing is huge. They're so stupid.
Okay. So let's say, what's a half penny farthing?
I don't know, but it's good.
I don't know. We're gonna say that. We're gonna say that's what it is. It's just all very silly. But
okay, I'm just gonna show you this. This is a penny-farthing. Like...
Yeah.
Yes. I want this.
That's actually smaller than I was picturing in my head.
Yeah. I've got a whole family of bicycles. I believe they're called velocipedes, actually.
Uh-huh.
Oh my goodness.
Look at all these. They're so impractical.
It's so good.
My favorite is the one in the bottom left.
That is ridiculous. Yeah. Good shit.
God.
Anyway, but yeah, like the fact that like steadying the back wheel like with his tail and just like holding the top of the bike as they're like bumping along this road is very good.
That is extremely funny.
What does the outside of the tavern look like? Like, is this like a broad, stout building, or is this something where it's like it's got multiple floors, that kind of thing?
I think it extends a little bit upwards, but this willow is massive. Like, imagine a weeping willow, but like the size of a redwood. Like, it's huge. And there's a little bit of levels built in. Like, there's clearly like tower, like deliberately like there's watch points further up. But I think it's mostly like built up around the roots and then down into the ground. Like the name Warren isn't just an affectation, especially for the colder parts of the year. Like you can get under the ground and get really properly warm and comfortable in like soft sandy earth.
Mm-hmm.
So. But you can absolutely see the tavern is there on the approach. I imagine like little, given the season, like little like paper style lanterns that sort of like deck like are strung between like some of the tallest of the roots that I'm imagining are like the height of a like double the height of a person, like just like these big arching things.
Yeah. I'd like to propose that higher up on the willow there's an observation deck which faces out towards the lake as well.
Oh yeah.
Somewhere where you can see not only the waters from on high, but also the reflections.
Yeah, I love the visual of like these massive silk drapes or whatever that are used to like pull back the curtain of the willow. So you can see it like, because we're approaching from the roadside and the willow is interposing between this and the lake, but you can see like one side of the observation deck from the roadside. And it sort of curves all the way round, and yeah.
Lovely.
Like, who did an imprint on the Little Mermaid and the visual of, like, the cranes, like, opening the willow like a curtain for the boat to go in?
Cool.
Nice. And I guess, since we're coming through, would this place be equipped for a herd to bed down for a while, like a stable, or a field, or would we have to find space for them?
I mean, I assume they've got to have fields and stuff. Alternatively, if this place is fairly well known, I'll just turn them out in the graveyard, and they can just bumble around in there.
Nice.
They can just vibe.
Yeah, they clean up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, they don't eat grass. They're I think once we get, we're obviously in a much less verdant place, but with the care given to the graveyard, I can imagine like flowers and stuff there that the bubbles can go roll around with. I know science.
One of the kids wakes up in the middle of the night to see a bumble poking into their tent.
Yep, absolutely.
Yes.
Perfect. Good.
As for the rest of us, I guess, do we end up perched up higher in the Warren at the Willow? Do we end up below the ground?
I'm definitely gonna be on ground.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm a capybara and an old lady.
I think Twos perches up high.
I think Parker splits the difference. So, like, he'll run stuff up to Twos as necessary, or run stuff down to Sunny as necessary. But they really want a good view out on the lake, just because, like, I don't think that this is like an obscure place. We've probably heard, there are probably stories about this place and the beauty of it and the stillness of it and that kind of thing. And so Parker's just like, yeah, I want to see this. But I do have a question, though.
Mm-hmm.
And this could potentially start a scene, but who greets us when we get here? Is Neri the one who is like tending the tavern when we get here?
What time of day do we think it is?
Mid-evening, maybe?
All right. Then I think the tavern is poppin'. It is indeed jam-packed with layabouts. But as the little traveling party arrive, this I say young, like if human would probably be like late 20s, early 30s, plump rabbit, sort of like notices people coming in and will like dart up. It's probably like waiting tables and stuff. And it's just like, I wanted to do an accent and then I forgot every accent I know how to do.
That's such a rude.
I wanted to do Dorset, but my brain does not want to play ball with that. So I'm not going to embarrass myself, even if I'm not sure if any FTL listeners know what a Dorset accent sounds like and aren't going to judge me for it. But anyway, it's a rural accent. Let's put it that way, even if I'm not doing it. But she bounds up, eyes bright, and is just like, "Oh, hi there, folks. Welcome to the Warren of the Willow. Can I get you guys a table or a room? What would you like?"
Yeah. Twos will pop off the hat and gesture to the rest of the group. I'd like somewhere up high, but how about the rest of you?
Oh, dearie, anything with not too many stairs.
All right. Looks to Parker.
Parker is just like wide-eyed and taking it all in and is just like, what, huh?
Oh, you're just precious, aren't you? Where do you want to be sleeping, honey?
Ooh, can I be a little ways up?
I reckon so. Looks to Theo, who's just like, I'll be sleeping out with the herd, but thank you. But would love some food.
Well, how about we all drink together and then we can get settled into our rooms before we cool our heels too much. I didn't mention this on the approach, but I imagine that Twos would have like a wagon, just like a four-wheeled red wagon kind of situation, carrying the briefcase and a few other books.
That's such a good little visual. Oh my god.
Yeah, it just rattles on the road behind.
Uh-huh.
I'm imagining there's like a oiled tarp that is in the wagon that you can throw over to keep the rain off of the stuff.
Yep. Yeah, and they'll dig through a little bit and just grab the briefcase and pop it open just for trinkets and coins and things that they've just sort of picked up on the road. I wouldn't be opposed to a fine vintage, but even just a mug of something will be fine.
All right. Anyone else got a hankering for something specific? Or I can just get you what's good.
That sounds
lovely. Great.
All right. You just find yourself space somewhere, and I'll be right back. And scurries off. And it's not long. You see her like bustle over to the bar, chatting with this very affable, like, I just love big fat rats, you guys. They're so good. Love big chubby rats. Who glances over and then starts fixing drinks, and it isn't long before Neri's back and is setting like sort of a mulled cider sweetened with honey out in front of most of you, but has like a mead for Twos, who requested a vintage. It's like, All right. Well, if you need anything else, flag me down, and I'll get you started. But meanwhile, I'll get you guys some room keys.
And it's much appreciated. Any sort of like gestures for a name?
Oh, I'm Neri. This is my folks' place. Bob's little curtsy.
Two's hat almost pops off a little bit, and then he'll just sort of reach up and get it back on. Now hold on there, that's a name I recognize. And he'll reach into the briefcase, they'll pull out a letter in an envelope and hold it over. I meant to get this to you through the post, but I didn't expect to be seeing you face to face so quick.
Mr. Tuesday, you look different to how your letters sound.
I get told that a lot.
I bet. Oh, well, it's great to meet you.
We will have to have a good and proper conversation, probably over a few, if you don't mind, and when you're off your shift.
She just grins like big old bunny teeth. And like gives a little nod of agreement, and then is getting like summoned, and goes about her work.
Yeah, they'll chirp in response and settle in on a bar stool somewhere. And he'll pop open that bottle of mead also if no one asked for anything more specific, because Twos definitely would have gotten mugs for the rest of everyone, and just pour everyone a bit. Or not, depending on preference.
Well, there's a couple of mugs of cider on the table as well.
Nice.
Is it warm cider?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
I said
perfect.
warm, like mulled cider sweetened a little with honey.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah. The good
Yeah, Sunny is very happy to have that.
Yeah, Parker takes a sip and makes an appreciative noise of the mulled cider, and then looks at Twos and is just like, so that's who you've been writing to, huh?
Well, back and forth here and there, whenever I could get a letter out. It's always nice to keep in contact with someone on the road, and I knew they were off this way. I hadn't expected quite under this tree, though.
Well, that's exciting. We definitely have something to drink to tonight.
A joining of friends on the road. But what do the rest of you think of this place? I mean, I'd always heard tell of it. I've seen paintings of it here and there, but it's quite something in person.
I think it's just darling. Pulls a caramel. Offering you all hard candy.
Yeah. Always. Twos always takes it. Twos doesn't always eat it, though, so there's like a good glob handful just knocking around in the briefcase. Like half melted from the hot summer, but still there.
You don't turn down a lady's old candy.
Never. Not once. It's bad luck. Along with that, too, they'll also sort of reach into their cloak and take out sort of a really battered, almost out pack of smokes and just sort of perch one in the beak. Not lighting it, but just keeping it there. I think I'll have plenty to scribble down, but how about the rest of you? How are you all planning to spend it here by the water?
Sunny's face perks up like, oh, I love the water. I think I'll just be spending my whole day down there. And, like, there's a chirp from their firefly as well.
Does the firefly have a name?
Yeah.
I haven't thought about it. I mean, I'm sure the firefly must have a name.
Do we know the firefly's name?
I'm trying to think of it.
I have an idea for a name.
Please help me.
So I don't know if this firefly, how this firefly communicates. I know you said that it like chirps, but how about if when Sunny introduced herself to the firefly as Sunny, the firefly was like, "I'm Stormy."
So
cute.
Let's go.
I like that too, because I imagine like, so Sunny was given this firefly by her family, young into her adventuring, so they're both just old souls now.
Mm-hmm.
And so Stormy at one point was like, I'm Stormy, let's fucking go!
Come rain or come shine, truly.
Yep.
And now Stormy's just like, sitting by the lake does sound lovely. This is an old-ass firefly.
Yeah. I get the idea that Stormy especially will probably enjoy reflecting among the rest of the stars.
Another happy chirp from the firefly.
Become part of the constellation for a little bit.
That would be lovely, just like old times, right, Stormy? And Stormy, I guess pulses with light. As, an agreement.
Cute.
Love it.
Yeah. Okay.
Do we think that this might be seen?
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's a good setup.
Cool. So, I kind of want the next scene to be at night. I don't know if it's necessarily later that night or if it's another night, but I am absolutely obsessed with the imagery of the still water and the stars above and the golden moon and all of that reflected back up.
Yeah, very potent, very appreciated.
I mean, especially since I believe the text says my firefly sleeps during the day anyways. I imagine, there's a lot of night stuff that happens on our end too.
Would it be good to take up a place for a little bit and sort of talk to the details of that then?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. I think I can pick up the mirror for a little bit and describe what's there if no one minds.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Then I think the lake by the Warren of the Willow, a lot of people stop by it, but there's some unspoken rule as part of it to never even dip a toe in the water. The breeze, since it doesn't really come through this area, even that sort of grants almost an air of respect about the mirror. Not to tarnish its surface, not to have ripples come through and distort both the clear reflection of the sky above, whether it's day or night, whatever may come through it. When the sunlight comes, of course, it makes it more transparent. Those kin and kith that pass by can see through the surface somewhat, and there is life below there. Flitting, slow, mollusks, crustaceans, fish that just move along the bottom edge, but at night especially, there's just total stillness, the pristine curve along the shores that both reflect straight out from the sky, but almost seem to put the tavern into a spotlight, focusing all the attention on there for folks to gaze down from the higher decks, or to even just enjoy from the ground level some of that ambient moonlight that bounces back at them. I think with that, though, even though people don't necessarily go for a dip in the lake or enjoy it in that manner, it is known that people will take picnics by it or set up their tents or otherwise find places of rest along it on the shores to enjoy a quiet moment or to have a chat with others. But there's always sort of not stifling, but just ever-present air of reverence, I think, that lies along the lake's edge, even quieter than the tavern above, and strangely, probably quieter than the graveyard, too. I think with that, though, the tavern has great view over its front edge of the lake, but towards the back edge, more towards the dark where the roads aren't and where the light's not, people tend to see things in the darkness as well. The moonlight and the way that the lake is, it reflects away from there, so it's very dim. And I think, especially around now, towards a time of reflections, towards time when people are thinking and focusing on their side, those that do cast their gaze out towards the further edge of the lake see things that don't sit well with them necessarily, or that bother them. Whether that's the inventions of a mind already deep in thought, or whether it's something that's truly there, that's lurking for them to be. No one can really say for sure, but it does give some pause to folks that choose to rest on the lakeshore. So let me look at some of those natures of the mirror.
I'd like to kind of tag on to that a little bit, because we have one of the folklores being the very edge of the world itself. Maybe some of the things that people think are reflected there, whether or not it's their imagination or something that's actually being shown to them, is like endings of things. Like, not necessarily, oh, this is how your life is going to end or anything like that, but just, the sensation of something coming to a close and how that might come to pass.
Just a sense of finality, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, given that, and as we have our friend out by the lakeshore, I'd like to take the nature of this place to ask, the mirror is a place that reflects you back onto yourself. So, what is it about your reflection that unnerves you?
For Sunny, it'd be how different she looks. Maybe she hasn't taken time to study herself in the mirror in a while.
Okay. And how did Sunny look in the past?
Younger.
Nodding my head.
Yeah, younger, more energy. I don't think she thinks about what getting older means a lot.
Gotcha.
Does she travel to kind of like avoid thinking about that?
Yeah, she doesn't turn down jobs. Just like always ready to be on the road.
Keeps you away
but
from...
always ready to be home.
Yeah, from the sitting and the thinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like if you're always on the road, excited to be home, then when you're home, you're excited, and then you can leave again.
Nice. With that, I think I can give the first token. So, yay, Sunny gets a token.
Oh, cool. What did I do?
I think there's actions attached to each of these playbooks, right? Things that people can always do and things that they do whenever a holiday comes through in a month. So let me see. I know, for instance, for the poet, there's a lot of actions that you can always do without currency, and then tokens, I think it was described earlier, help you do some more of those hard moves. So, for instance, for twos, if they were to have a token, they could spend it during a seasonal holiday to ask someone to read their project, for instance. Yeah, I think that's a scene set. So, what's happened on the lakeshore?
Is that still me? Or
would you like it still
to
be?
be? You can pass the baton if you want, if you don't want to.
No, I mean, if someone else wants to come down to the lakeshore too.
Yeah, I think Parker will come down to the lakeshore. I think he is looking a little somber and maybe a little lost. I don't know that they're necessarily looking for Sunny, but when they see Sunny, they brighten up a little bit and go to call out, but think better of it because of the solemnity in the air, and just kind of like hop and wave instead, hoping to get Sunny's attention.
I think Stormy sees you first and like puts a hand over their little firefly mouth and cackles. And then points, and so Sunny turns around to see you and waves you over to come sit by her on the shore.
Parker gratefully kind of like clambers over and sits down and is just like, "What you doing?"
Well, I'm enjoying this fine evening. A shame about not being able to get in the water. It is one of my favorite things, but seeing it up here like this is good enough. What brings you out to the lake, Parker, my boy?
I was just looking for something. I well, someone, sort of, I guess. It's kind of hard to explain. I don't know. Have I told you about CD?
Good question. Do you think Parker would have?
I think maybe Parker has mentioned the name in passing. But I don't know if it's necessarily occurred to him to, like, go into detail about who CD is.
Okay. So yeah, Sunny will be like, a familiar name with an unfamiliar tale.
Well, I know they're around here somewhere. Oh, wait. Okay. CD does not have explicit pronouns in the text. I'm gonna go with she, her. But, yeah, she's hard to explain, but I know she's around here somewhere, and I know there's someone here that she wants to meet, but I can't seem to find her, and I'm worried if I don't find her soon, she won't be able to meet the person that she wants to meet, and it's just going to be a whole thing, and, you know, I'll feel bad, she'll feel bad, everybody will feel bad. I mean, okay, maybe not you, it's not your fault or anything, you don't have to feel bad, but...
I feel like I'm starting to feel like I should feel bad. Child, have you tried reaching out to this person?
Well, CD's not, well, I mean, person...
This alive being, probably?
Can gods be alive?
I think, Sunny just throws back her head and cackles. Well, they ain't dead, ain't they?
I guess, but just because something's not dead doesn't necessarily mean it's alive. I mean, look at vampires. They're not dead, but they're not alive. And Parker makes, like, a little hand motion to mimic fangs.
Well, breathing status and whatnot, have you a way to reach out to this entity? I swear to God, if you say, well, is she really an entity? I will come through the computer and wring your neck.
What's a computer? I'm kidding. Parker kind of looks a little sheepish and is like, I just can feel her, you know, and like I said, I feel like she's around here somewhere. I don't know how to get her attention, I guess.
Oh, man. I think I'm about to decide that I'm a kooky old grandma. So, Sunny will stand up on a rock and put her little hooves around her mouth and yell, CD! CD, you around here?
I think that gets Parker to laugh a little. And then, kind of glancing around to make sure we haven't drawn very much attention to ourselves.
Detail to add, if you'll have it.
Of course.
The sound doesn't travel.
Ooh.
May I also add
The
one?
same way that wind doesn't move over the lake, and that you never hear the tavern. It's just, there's something about this mirror. It doesn't bounce sound around it, or like, it's not that the sound doesn't happen. It's not like being in an anerobic chamber. The two of you together, you hear it. But it doesn't disturb anybody else. It's almost like the lake absorbs the sound without changing. In the way that a black hole absorbs light. It doesn't look any different.
Nice.
Noticing that, Sunny would shudder and be like, huh, maybe they was right about not getting in the lake, actually.
What was the detail that you were wanting to add, Corey?
Yes, I think in addition to that sort of deadening of sound, I choose to think that the moon winks.
Love that.
I love that too. I think that kind of startles Parker, and he falls on his butt and points and is just like, "Did you see that?"
Oh, honey. The moon's always doing weird stuff.
Moon's a fucking flirt.
You get used to that big old ball in the sky and whatever it wants to do as you go.
Okay.
You let that moon be. And Sunny winks back at the moon.
I feel like that's a great place to end the scene.
Love that so much.
Yeah, Sunny's officially kooky grandma. Okay.
Let's go.
She's the best. I love her.
We just took a turn for kooky grandma who says weird things, but then you're like, wait, that might actually be true.
How real is this, actually?
Like, Grandma, you have so many stories. Like, oh, yes, stories.
Okay. What's up next? Looking at the places. I think Twos will probably take that meeting with Neri. And as for where, probably still perched up high in the tavern, overseeing the lake. Sort of a same time, different place situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But since where they are is away from the hub and the bub, that's probably where they would have taken a smoke, since it's high up where the smoke's bound not to bother someone, and sort of in a corner of the deck where the winds will sort of spread it away.
Yeah, and Neri will come sit like upwind, so she won't be bothered by it.
So what Twos will do, he would have had one of his books open. I think in this case it would have been that dime novel that was found on the edge of the road. But take it, sort of find a feather or something to tuck in between the pages and set it aside for a moment before they turn to see Neri.
I didn't mean to interrupt your book.
Well, if you'd been interrupted, I wouldn't have set it aside.
Fair point. Sort of like sits down properly.
Yeah. They'll open their wings and say, "Well, as the sun rises and the moon sets, I still didn't think I'd see you out here. Finally off your shift?"
Wouldn't be here if I wasn't.
Good. Hate to think I'd be taking you away from the others.
They'll be fine.
As the sun rises and the moon winks. Glory. Yeah, he'll turn, sort of put those talons up somewhere comfortable, kind of gripping around the edge for a little bit. I tell you, I knew a little bit about how things would look, but I didn't think they'd be quite this much from up here. You get to see this every night?
Oh, well, it's not cloudy. And smiles.
Well, I do envy that.
I think it's easy for us here to forget how much it is. Like, don't get me wrong, we know it's beautiful and awe-inspiring and all manner of things you smart folks like to say. For me, it's just home. You know?
He'll close eyes and sort of raise a wing, waving it around the tip, and sort of a lack of breeze. She sort of pauses to note before going on. I think I heard this one once, but where the edges of the lake stops, no one quite knows what lies beyond, but forever where everyone can see from it, well, the view's crystal clear, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
You ever have folks do paintings from up here? Other sorts of things?
Oh, yeah. All sorts. I remember this, Ermine fella. All manner. Day after day, was like trying oils, watercolors, and charcoals, just try to capture a bit of it. He got so mad because he couldn't capture it the way he wanted to. The work was beautiful. Should have been proud of it, but I think he was just mad he couldn't take a little bit away with him, you know?
Yeah, Twos nods at that, sort of puffing on the smoke a couple of times in thought. He'll take a moment to just pause, pick up from his briefcase the sketchbook that he's been scribbling in, pull a quill, and just write down a passage in as he thinks. You ever thought of leaving this place, just out of curiosity?
Oh, plenty. Hear folks coming in with their stories about places far away. Rizzo's got stories that'll just keep on fucking going about other places, even though, like, he has been here as long as I can remember. I don't ever think he's ever been anywhere else. But the way he talks, you think he'd been all over the place. But,
Okay.
they're good stories, so, you know, maybe there's something in it. But, you know, my folks need me here. Maybe one day they won't, and I'll go elsewhere.
Guess it's a little hard to beat feet in the moment like that. He'll shut his book. I have
What
to
do you
ask, though.
see?
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Please.
There is just sort of like peering down, and because of you can see right down to the water. It's not just out over it. Like if you're out on a bow, you can look down and it's water beneath you. It's like, have you looked yet?
Well, here and there, and I've tried to see myself in it too, but something I keep wondering about. And they'll take that quill they were writing with and sort of point out just at the stars here and there and everywhere. It's how many of these blink out and how many of these show up as we keep looking at it. I mean, it seems like it's almost captured in crystal, but it can't be that constant, can it?
I think you'd need to talk to an astronomer about that sort of thing.
This place always used to be here, by the by?
The Warren. Or, I mean, the lake's been here. Well, always. I think there's always been some folks plying their trade here. Folks come to the water. And when they realize they can't drink of it or swim of it, they need somewhere to rest. So, an inn seemed kind of necessary.
That's part of it, but I was wondering more, who got the idea? And he sort of pats a wing against the railing to build this up here.
Oh, people were gonna climb it anyway, I guess. And someone had some forethought. You know, I don't know. I mean, maybe it was my folks. Maybe it was their folks. One stripe or another. Believe it or not, pretty big family. And she winks.
I don't think Two's comments on it, but there's a twinkle. They're pretty amused by that one.
You know, some folks only come here once. You know, they take in the mirror, they pay their respect, and then they leave. Maybe they see something that scares them here, or they don't like what they see and they want to flee from it, or maybe they just get what they needed and don't feel an urge to come back. Some folks do. And I wonder if they're looking for something or trying to figure something out. Or if they're hoping they'll see something different.
Maybe I'm just the type that likes to be lost, but I can't imagine only coming to a place like this once.
Oh, well, you're a romantic.
Perish the thought.
Smokes a little bit, like, and does the little bunny nose scrunch?
He'll consider that, and then just sort of take the smoke and stub it, tucking the burnt end into one of his pockets. I think that's a good place for scene.
Sure. Works for me.
Hi, it's August, and I just wanted to thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed us, please consider leaving a rating on your podcast platform of choice, telling your friends about us, or tweeting about us using the FTLcast hashtag. We are also part of a nonprofit podcasting guild called Standing Stones Productions. We do a variety of shows, including The Room Where It Happened and Dumb Kids Playing Hero, 2 actual play shows, and a Steven Universe discussion podcast called Gay Space Rocks. We also do live streams at twitch.tv/StandingStonesProd. You can keep up with everything that we do on Twitter at Stones_Standing. Unfortunately, Standing Stones was already taken. Your support means a lot. Thanks again!